Okay, well, I am the founder and the CEO of Inner Strength Network, and I set up the business to coach, train, and support women and girls and their families through difficult moments in their lives. And what those difficult moments have been include domestic abuse, hate crime, mental health issues, issues relating to self-esteem. And one of the things I do is to coach them on a one-to-one basis or a group setting. The team also coach as well. And what we do, we try and raise the self-esteem, push them forward in their lives and make them excel. When I was 16, I was told that I would never succeed. I then ignored all of that and I set up my first business as a 16-year-old, working for 10 law firms and trying to do what they call now the paralegal things, or going to court, going to prison, taking statements, doing criminal cases, working with clients that were scary, but I loved it, all right? Now, when I did that, it gave me the instinctive to do law. So I said, right, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do university. I'm going to study university. And I loved that too. The only thing is, I was doing it because my dad said I couldn't. So there's this thing about my family where my dad, there's three of us, three boys and one sister, but for some reason, he never believed that the girl could be the first one to go to uni. So I said, well, I'll show you. So I literally did it for my dad. And then I thought, do I really want to do law? I went as far as I could, do the studies, but didn't practice. And I thought, actually, I want something else. I want to help people, quote unquote. The classic line, help people. But actually, that is exactly what I wanted to do. It wasn't about the money for me, even though money is important. It was about making a difference in the community and making a difference with people that you meet. And I found coaching when I went into the Ministry of Justice. So I worked my way up from the Ministry of Justice to the head of Women's Issues Network, and I started coaching women and different people really, working across government, working and setting up other women's networks within other government departments, and I loved it. And this thing of coaching really appealed to me. So while I was working at Ministry of Justice, I set up my consultancy, and I didn't think the consultancy was going to do so well. And so after 15 years, it was good enough for me to leave the Ministry of Justice. And I started working as a consultant. 1 year after that, I set up Inner Strength Network because I realized it was about the community as well as consultancy. So, and then I haven't looked back since really. But I think what I've learned is that it's important to do what you really love, what your passion is. And now my lawyer friends, they come to me and say, can I do what you do, please? And I'm helping them to get into different areas of their career and just change. So it really does pay to do what you love. Really, the heart of hearts is my mother. That's really the defining force. She was a woman that did suffer from domestic abuse, and she doesn't mind me saying so, because it's the story of why I do what I do. I was in a refuge. I was a child of domestic abuse. I worked and watched my mum work her way up, or work and fight for us. And I totally admire that woman. And that gave me the drive. She always used to say, don't be afraid of anybody's faces. Just, the only person that you should fear is God. She always used to say that. And she's still alive, but she's very ill now. But I definitely believe that my mum was a driving force, and my faith as well. Yeah. Well, I believe one of the biggest things for me when I was 16, it's really weird how it happened. I worked for a company called, my first ever job ever was Michael Seltzer & Co. And it was a lawyer, and I was the co. So I got there in Baker Street and I went, oh my goodness, it's just me and the lawyer. I've got to learn everything. And I did. And it taught me so much. Um, it taught me so much that it inspired me to move forward in the law. And I said, I can do what you do. That cheered me up and cheered me on. But I think what made me transition into coaching, I think that's what you're saying, what made me transition into it. I think it was when I was trained in it and I saw that it made a difference. So when I saw it made a difference in people's lives, I thought, I wonder if it could make a difference in a young woman's life that's going through a difficult moment. Now, I respect counsellors and I refer people to, who need counselling, but there was a missing link within Merton. There was nobody doing coaching when I came along for women that suffer from the abuse. And I was the first one, and it was hard because everyone said, no, we don't do that. We don't do that. We only do counselling. Sorry. But I totally ignored that again. And I thought, no, I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to continue to coach. And it made a difference. I could tell you the story about a young lady, but I don't know if I'm going on a bit. So I will say that I started coaching one young lady. At the time, I didn't know she was a child of domestic abuse, but one young lady in a medical centre, and I coached her, and she said, her mother said to her, who is this woman? Who is this woman that's coaching you? You really have improved. Your confidence has come up. You're really doing well at school. Who is she? And so she wanted to meet me, and I met her. And she said, I'm a child. She said, I'm in a refuge. I really love you to come into the refuge and coach the women. And she did a petition. I didn't know all of this was going on. And I ended up going into the refuge and coaching the women, and then moving and changing their lives, and then feeling better. So that was a really extraordinary moment. I believe one of my biggest quotes is, let the work speak for itself. So each one would tell one and tell one and tell one. So I've only just recently started to go on social media because it was always like that. Each one tell one, tell one, tell one. So that's how I really realised it worked. And then other people saw it was working, and entrepreneurs were asking me, how do you do it? What do you do? And I just started to help other business women go forward in their lives, in their careers, in their whatever they want to do for their business. So, and that's how it kicked off. ISM began in 2012. So 2011 was the consultancy, and 2012 was the Inner Strength Network. So I saw the need. There was a need for the community. And so I started looking. I was working at home and I was thinking, I was actually, if I'm honest, I was travelling all over the place in different, I went to Scotland one day, and next week, I was just travelling a lot. And I thought, why am I travelling all these places? Even though it's lovely, what's happening in the community I'm in? And I thought, I need to find somewhere in Merton where I can make a difference. And so I came looking for this building. I was just like, right, let me just see what this building's like. And a lovely lady by the name of Carol, who's still here, she said to me, Maureen, I believe in what you're doing. I want you to have this room for free for a whole year. She gave me an area for free. And then one day I said to her, because this is what you need motivation to kick start your motivation. You need somebody, and you need that inner strength to say you need to step up another level. So she said to me, I said to her, thank you so much for allowing me to stay here for a year. What I'd like you to do now, I'd like you to start charging me. And she looked at me as if I was crazy. She goes, Maureen, are you sure? Because I know it's really hard. I go, yes, I'm sure. That's going to give me the incentive to get funding to help these women. If I sit here too comfortably, I will not go forward. And so she did. She started charging me. And I've never missed the rent because the funding came. So you need the drive, the inner drive within you when you want to do business. You need to keep yourself sharp and be ready to move when you need to move. As a leader, I think it's really important to be a therapeutic leader in the sense of everyone in the team, they know when we come in to do our team meetings, the first thing I ask is, how are you? I don't want to know about business. How are you? Are you able to work? Do you want to take 5? How's the family? We do a bit of that. And they think I'm crazy. They thought I was crazy when I first started to do that. But it was worth it because I genuinely want to know, how are you? And once they say, I'm good to go, or one of the kids really driving me up the wall, or you become real. And you say, you know what, I get it. Take some time out, come back, be ready to go next time. And you know what? That's helped so much because they want to work around the clock. And I'm telling them, calm down. Like, I'm literally telling them, no, don't do that now, please. Yeah, but I want to do it. I'm really enjoying it. I know you're enjoying it, but relax, So they're so engrossed in what we're doing because they love what they're doing. And they've said to me on a number of occasions that they love the team. And that, to me, makes me feel good because I've got it wrong. I've got it wrong a few times where I've thought, well, I want to help somebody, but if they're not at the place to have the character, competence, and creativity, then I have to let them go. So I'm quite strong about that. I don't really mess with my words when it comes to making sure something's done right. I'll smile, but I'll say, no, that's not right. I'm being honest. When building a team, you need to find character, you need to find competence, and you need to find creativity. With character, you need that person to be a person that has got integrity and wants to be here, wants to be part of a team, wants to excel. In relation to competence, obviously they need to be able to do the job and do it well. You cannot afford, for me it's a life-changing situation. Somebody could die. It sounds a bit strong, but someone could die if you get it wrong. So you need to be competent to know what they're doing when they're speaking with women, when they're speaking with young people that might potentially be being abused, or speaking with business women that are going through stuff. They need to know what they're doing. So competence, creativity, and character are important. And I think all 3 come in one in a team. I've got a fantastic team now. We've got criminologists, we've got teachers, we've got people that were, nannies, all sorts of women of all ethnicities, because that's a big thing for me as well. I think it's good for them to feel joined up and feel like a team. So I think I needed to, I suppose as an individual, I needed to gather the team because I realised I'm not an island. I can't do it alone. I really can't. And I was doing it alone for a good time, but I realised you need to build a team and for them to feel good, that they can excel without me having to be hovering over them all the time. For example, I'm here today and there's a team that's doing a Zoom meeting with some of the women. I can't be everywhere. On Wednesday, I've got some people working with the young girls on transition into secondary school. So I can't be everywhere. And so I think it's important for them to be empowered to excel. Some of the main issues have been funding, because even though I've been in business for so long, funding is a key area where, it's a key area where there's always a need for more. And it's not because for want of trying, but it's about how do you get the funding, who do you apply to, how do you do it, what do you need to have in place, have you got a good board that knows what they're doing, have you got people around you that know how to do safeguarding, that know how to deal with policies. Having the right kind of people on board will help. But if you're if you haven't, then you're going to struggle to get funding. So now we've set up quite a lot of, under consultancy, I've set up quite a lot of support for entrepreneurs to help them to get funding. So that's definitely one area, funding. The second area I would say would be in relation, I've forgotten what the question was now. I thought what was the question again? See, like I've gone. Yeah, some of the issues I've faced is, I'm blowing now, you ready? Not believed, no, she's not going to last. Just in case you haven't noticed, I am a black Caribbean woman, and I love being me, and I think, oh, she won't last, she's not lasting. And actually, they don't actually say that to you, but you feel it. It's an underlining thing that's said. Second thing you get is in some board meetings, you'll get the pushback on a particular issue. For example, when I came here, as I said before, I was told that coaching wouldn't work, and I said, yes, it will. And actually, I didn't argue about it. I just delivered it, and then delivered it again. And then the schools wanted it, and then I wrote a program to make sure we could deal with child sexual exploitation in schools, and then they went, wow, this is great, and then public health got involved. So it was about being resilient, being consistent, and not being afraid when you hear that word no, but saying, I hear it, but watch me. A bit like when my dad said, you ain't going to get the first degree in family. I kind of like thrive off that when someone says no to me.
So what are some of the steps that you've taken to secure funding?
Some of the steps I've taken have been to know what you're doing when you're doing a funding application, networking with people in the area. Thankfully, we've had, I don't know if I'm allowed to name the funders, but we've had quite a few funders that have helped, the Wimbledon Foundation, London Community Foundation, and some others that have helped tremendously to start helping these women. So I think it is about being honest. I know it sounds like really cliche, but being honest and having integrity about what you want to do with the money that you've been given and to deliver it. We have helped over 3,000 women within the last 2 years and over 800 young people within the last 2 years, and they are thriving and doing well, and that's all as a result of funding, but also as a result of us pushing forward and training these young people. We're now moved on to hate crime and helping those that need support in those areas, and we will continue to do so. When we see a gap, we're going to fill it. And that's what Inner Strength's about. It's about instilling the right kind of attitude in others for them to say, you can do this. So just because someone's told you no doesn't mean that you can't succeed. That's a real strong thing for me. I was told I had a school report, and that's how I built my Leading Ladies program. I had a school report that said, Maureen has an outside chance of passing any exams. And at that time, I was in a refuge, so of course I wasn't even thinking straight. My mind was all over the place. But I studied and I passed, and I was cheeky because I got my certificate and I waved it in the person's face and went, I have an outside chance of passing, do I, sir? And then I went my way. So I'm a bit cheeky. But it gave me determination to thrive off when someone says no, and I think that's where the inner strengths come from. Like, don't settle for the no. Break the doors down if you have to, go around it if you have to, but keep it moving. Keep it moving. I recently found myself a mentor, Bianca Miller, who is the lady that was on The Apprentice, and she is fantastic for me. Because funny enough, the way I met her was, at the time, she was, I believe, I asked her, we were both teaching at the London School of Economics at the time, And I thought, oh, I think I might find out a bit more about what she does in relation to that branding and what have you, because that wasn't my area. So I was not bad at the other areas, but the branding area. So I thought she could teach me a thing or two about that. And so I joined her program within the last 6 months, actually. And I really have found it to be beneficial, and definitely recommend her services for personal branding for sure. She's really helped me to focus on what I need and how I should do it. So I definitely recommend getting a mentor or a coach of some sort. You have to have the two strategies in alignment with each other. So your personal and what you need for your family, and then the business, what you need for business. So you can take a segment from what you earn on both sides to go towards the business. So for a long time, if I'm honest, my consultancy helped to fund Inner Strength until funding came, and it worked on its own. So I was giving a lot out because I believed in it. So it's about you investing enough to believe in what you want to do. And everybody, just don't be afraid to invest in that, because it will come round back to you in the end if you remain consistent. So I'm hoping I've answered your question, but don't be afraid to invest. Don't be afraid to put your money in what you can manage, and have some sort of a plan. It's very important to have a plan. I stick to my plan, and I've delivered my plan, and it's important to have personal plan as well as a business plan on both sides. Each step of the way, you have to communicate with your family. So when I first started, remember I told you I've been married for nearly 25 years. I'm 24 years, next year 25. And when I started, I said to him, honey, I'm going to be networking a lot for a while, and it's going to look really crazy because I'm going to be going everywhere, and money will not come in, honey. I said that to him. I said, nothing will come in for now, but watch, it will. Like that. And the other day, he quoted me back and said, yeah, you said it was going to be hard at first, but look, now it's great, And it was nice to have someone that understood. So the way I believe what you should do is communicate with your family, be understanding, try not to let it overlap. Now my children will laugh, and my husband at this point, because I still struggle with that. Because I might have time with the kids, have time with hubby, and might watch a movie, and then when they're all doing their different things, I'll go back downstairs and I'll do a document or something. But I would have spent time with them, and I love spending time with my family. In fact, it's precious to me. And so it's a check-in. You should have check-in points with your family. Are you all right? Do we need to do something? Am I overdoing it over here? Am I overdoing it over here? It's having that conversation, an honest conversation with your family in each process of your business. Now, I know there's a lot of people that overdo it, and actually it's not good for your mental health. So I recommend that you should set out clear boundaries, i.e. if you're working at 9 to 5, you're working at 9 to 5. And if you do a bit in the evening, fair enough, but make it clear. Have that conversation. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? Over the next 5 years, I plan to have a large team, paid large team. So funding for my core team is essential. So I plan to do that. I plan to put different people in charge of different areas. I would then look at the strategic and in a wider sense. I'll also be doing more work with hate crime and doing more work with other avenues that have come up recently. I also believe that maybe we will have, I don't know, some sort of channel, I don't know yet, but something that will keep encouraging women and girls and their families through difficult moments, whether it be whether it be a podcast, whether it be a show, I don't know. But we just have to watch this space, really. But on the personal sense, I've got other things planned for my personal. I love watching somebody that's been told that they can't do something and that they'll never be any good enough. I will love watching them change during the coaching process. They come in really sad and like at 0, and they leave at a 10 through weeks of coaching, and especially when they come back to me and some of them have written books, some of them have written articles and said, oh, I wrote this last night, what do you think? And I went, what, this is great. Or someone said, oh, I've decided to set up a business, and I go, that's fantastic. Some business women come to me halfway through and they say, I don't know what to call it. And I go, get a name, let's keep it moving. So I love seeing the sparks come when they were told they could never do something. I had one woman that was a brilliant artist that I coached. At the time, her partner told her that she was rubbish, absolutely rubbish. And I looked at her artwork and I went, you are amazing, you need to set up your own business. She's now got her own business, she's got her own classes, she's got her own whatever. So I love seeing someone thrive through a difficult moment, especially when they're told they can't. Get your good networks together, so start networking from now. Be an honest person. And I know that's a really strange one for many when I say that, but I really mean it, just be honest. People can tell whether you're being genuine or not. I know a lot of business people don't necessarily believe that, but I believe you should have integrity, and it's about your own personal values. If that's what kind of person you are, I believe that door's open for you. I've never had to fight to do something, or people usually ask me. I don't usually have to fight for it because I want to help, and doors open for you when you want to help. If you're an open person, doors will open for you. But if you're selfish and you're bitter in some way, you've got underlying current some way, you can usually tell that person won't last for long. Not because, unless they change. If they change, fantastic. And I've seen many change and they're doing really well. I would have got definitely. I would have got a mentor sooner. I would have got a coach sooner. I would have made sure I rallied a team sooner. I would have made sure that I was not sidetracked, because sometimes different people ask you to do different things and it's not anything to do with your own business, but you're so willing to help that you've forgotten about your business for a minute. And actually, I believe in sticking to what you've been assigned to do, keeping your alignment to what you've been assigned to do in business, and not procrastinating or putting things off. Same thing, really. So I think the answer to the question would definitely be just keep focused and be determined, and don't give up, especially if you've got that one thing that nobody else has got. Just do it, and you will excel. You will just have the right kind of people with you at the time. So that's definitely what I would say. I wish I'd got those things in place sooner. Yeah.
And how can people get in contact with you?
They can get in contact with me on Instagram with Maureen Bailey Official, Inner Strength Network, Maureen at innerstrengthnetwork.com. They can, all on the website, there's so many different things. They could set up a coaching one-to-one session with me for entrepreneurs. I also deliver programs for bid writing and helping people to get bids. There's so many different things. All they need to do is just contact me, and I'll be happy to help. Well, it's funny because I do help men, and that's why I deliberately put women and girls and their families. I deliberately put the families bit because I have boys that I do sessions with. I have young men that I do sessions with. I go into London School of Economics and I work with the parents, and I work with the boys and girls together on different functions. I've got something coming up for both men and women, working with them in the workplace. So The women bit came because of only women contacting me, but then the men started contacting me about their women, which is really ironic. So one time I remember this gentleman came to me and asked me about this. He told me the situation, and I said to him, "Is your wife pregnant by any chance?" And he went, "Yes, she is. Is that why she's carrying on like that?" It was funny, and we both laughed, but actually he needed to hear that from me for some reason. Another situation I had where there was a chap that came and spoke to me, and he was talking to me about his daughter. And then I stopped him and I said, "You do realise that you're the one that's being abused. You do realise you're the one that needs help." And we talked through that. And another one was where he talked about his daughter, and I was worried about the daughter, and I said, "Bring her, let me coach her. We're covered under the funding. Bring her, let me coach her." And that's what he did. So the answer about men, I do work with men. If they want to work with me, they can make contact with the Inner Strength Network via our teams, whether it be lisa@innerstrengthnetwork.com or Maureen at innerstrengthnetwork.com, or there's a form online. There's a referral form where different people from different organisations refer people. There's self-referral where they just ring me up or text me and say somebody needs help, or they can email me as well. Once that email comes into the office, it's allocated a person to work with that individual. Times will be set up with that person to work with them. They then might even decide, I don't want just one-to-ones, but I want to work in the group setting on the Mondays or on the Wednesdays, depending on their need. And the process begins, the coaching begins. In relation to the YAS program, which is the Child Sexual Exploitation program, we go to schools and schools contact us to work with their children. I'm about to set up, and I forgot to say this, I'm about to set up an e-learning program that has happened as a result of COVID, where they can go online and do everything online, which is it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So I'm in the middle of finishing off that.